Do you want to become invincible and tap into your superpower? Well, if that's the case, be sure to watch this video because we're going to talk about how to brainwash yourself. So let's get it. What is going on? In this video, I want us to talk about how to brainwash yourself. And when you brainwash yourself, you're going to be able to accomplish, experience anything that you want, right? The world is going to be yours at that point. The world is your oyster. So by the end of this video, you're going to know the exact steps on how to brainwash yourself. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to strip ourselves of everything. Strip ourselves to the bone. Right? Now, I'm going to break this down. So, being in the military, I've been brainwashed. Literally, I've been brainwashed. So, what they did was, I was living in California, right? Living in Sacramento, California. So in order to go to the military, you need to go through basic training. That is a prerequisite. And what they do is they indoctrinate you. It just is what it is. And so indoctrination is brainwashing. So first thing, they strip you of everything, right? They strip you to the bone. They get rid of your whole identity, right? Everything you thought you knew, you cut it off. They cut off our hair. They cut off my hair backwards too. At the time I had waves, so I was pissed off, right? Cut off our hair. Everybody looks the same. So if you want to brainwash yourself so that you can get to a place where you become invincible and you could do anything, then we got to start, we got to break you down just to build you back up, right? So first things first, we got to strip you of everything, okay? The next thing that we're going to do is you have to change your environment. But here's the kicker. Inside and out. Boom. So you got to change your environment. Right? I went from being in Sacramento, California to San Antonio, Texas. I changed my environment, right? You have to get away from what you have been living inside of forever, right? So you're going to strip yourself, right? Get rid of all of your identity. If you're in a place where you just want to make it, you just want better, you just want more, you have to, there's going to be certain sacrifices or things that you have to give up to get. So what are you willing to give up to get this other thing, right? If you want a new belief system, you got to give up your old belief system. And then you got to change your environment. And you change your environment inside and out. So what do these two things mean, inside and out? What I mean is internally and externally. So let's break that down. Internally, your thoughts, right? Your self-talk. How do you talk to yourself? You have to put it in your head to like talk to yourself good. Some people are naturally negative internally in their heads, but you got to talk to yourself better. So what I would do is I would write down, I would have maybe 3 affirmations. And I would write those affirmations down 10 times each, 2 to 3 times a day. Because you have to change your environment inside of here, right? If I go and I take some lilies and some dandelions and sunflowers and I plant them in the snow in Alaska, do you think they're gonna grow? No, because of the environment. So you have to change what's going on in here to change your life, to brainwash yourself, to rewire your brain. Okay? Externally, you got to change yourself. Now, the kicker is the things that are happening internally is going to be reflected externally, right? Because if you start talking to yourself better, you're going to feel better. If you feel better, you're going to treat yourself better. If you treat yourself better, you're going to look better, right? So you got to change the environment. That's what the military did. They changed the environment. And that environment that is changed, you get around new people, you have different thoughts, right? They teach you new things, right? Military specific things. And then you just know those things as muscle memory at a certain point, right? And so the next thing that you have to do is you have to change your diet. This is one that a lot of people don't want to do, right? It's hard to give up things, right? But you got to change your diet. Now, you got to change your consumption, right? So what do you consume? You consume food, but what do you also consume? Music. You consume information, right? So your diet is not just food. Your diet is everything. What are you taking in, right? I went from taking in, listening to music all the time and being around certain people, and I was taking in their energy and their information and what they had to offer to the world. Then I went to the military and I was taking in the history of the Air Force and how to hand-to-hand combat and ground-to-ground combat and all these short abbreviations and things like that. So I started consuming different because it was forced upon me. And obviously I was brainwashed and I knew everything about the Air Force and the military like this. Why? Because I was brainwashed. I was indoctrinated. So I'm trying to help you brainwash yourself for the things that you actually want. Because a lot of people are brainwashed in society right now just into being mediocre, into just working the same thing for 20, 30 years still, and we in 2024, right? So you got to rewire your whole self. So you got to change your diet. Changing your diet, okay, food. Me personally, I am vegan, right? I'm not here to tell you what to do or what to eat, but if you want to follow your heart and your gut, you got to cleanse it first. So you can't follow your gut, right? Your intuition is your gut feeling. You can't follow that if it's not cleansed. So you got to cleanse that. So all the sugars, you got to let it go. At some point, you got to let that shit go. Right, you got to be in control of it. Just the fat shit, right? The fried chicken, just all the bullshit. Go on a fast. I can't say that enough. Every month I go on a fast at least 2 to 3 days minimum. So this year I will have not eaten for almost a month by the end of December. And the reason is because I fasted for a couple days every single month. Right? What's 3 days times 12 months? That's 36 days out of the year that I fasted. So you gotta fast. Because when you fast, your body is able to repair itself much faster because your colon and your digestive system is taking a break, right? So you're wondering why you got all these thoughts because you're eating certain things that are low vibrational, that are made in a lab, right? The next thing, change your diet. Music. If you listening to, murders every day, stuff about murders and how women ain't shit and all this other stuff, what do you think you're going to be a product of, right? If you listening to how dudes ain't this and blah, 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 like, yo, what do you think you're going to be doing? You're going to be a spitting image of the music that you consume, right? I get it. I'm black, right? I'm from inner city. But at the end of the day, you got to evolve past that. Everything has its place. And so you got to understand that music is a frequency. Music is brainwashing you. Music is indoctrinating you. The melodies, the bass, all these things are created to control you on certain levels. So you got to change that. I've gone on music fast where I don't listen to no music for 7 days, 10 days. And I pay attention to how I feel, right? Go play some meditation music before you go to bed. Go listen to money and wealth affirmations while you sleep. This is how you brainwash yourself. You got to get rid of all the bullshit that you've been ingesting and consuming over the years. And you got to cleanse yourself, your body, your spirit, your soul. You got to cleanse everything so that you can actually have positive thoughts, that you can actually have peaceful thoughts, right? You can't be peaceful if you're consuming, low vibrational negative things. Information. What information are you consuming? Are you reading books that are conducive to your growth? Or are you just reading the same, or are you reading the news, right? Are you only talking to people that have a scarcity mindset? Or are you talking to people that are thinking about what abundance means and how anything could happen and how you could do anything, right? What are you consuming? So you have to change your diet, but your diet is a complete everything. Your diet is not just food. Your diet is not just chicken breast and broccoli. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about what are you consuming? What are you taking in? What are you ingesting? You got to change all of that. If you really want to brainwash yourself for success, you got to change all of that, right? So your diet. So you got to strip yourself of everything to the bone, to the studs, right? You got to change your environment, isolate yourself, because elevation requires isolation. Change your environment inside and out, your internal thoughts, self-talk, belief systems, your patterns, all of that stuff. And then it's going to reflect out externally. And then you want to change your diet. And you change your diet is your food, the music you listening to, the information you taking in, all of that is your diet, okay? So you got to change that as well. Now the next thing is you want to create a rigid routine, right? Now, and then the fifth one is repetition. Boom. Now, a lot of people who are more feminine, whether it be women or men who are feminine, they don't like routines, right? Routine is structure and order. Routine is a masculine energy, right? So you have to get into your masculine energy in order to create a rigid routine. Because the feminine wants to flow and be airy and be fun, right? But the masculine says a routine is needed. But I'm here to tell you, if you want any type of success, if you want to change your life, you got to have a routine. Nobody that I know who's doing very well does not have a routine. Every successful person has a routine. I'm not saying you have to have the routine I have. I'm not saying you have to have the 5 a.m. routine. I'm saying you need a routine. So what routine can you create for yourself that will allow you to brainwash yourself into believing that you could do anything and going and doing it? That's it. And then you want to repetition. You want to put it on repeat. You want to put it on autopilot to the point where this is just now who you are. And then voila, it's like magic. So you do this shit step by step. And then once you start repeating it, You do it a cycle, you do it, and then you do it, and you do it a week later, 2 weeks later, 4 weeks later. And now you a different person. All because you decide to isolate yourself, right? You got rid of all the bullshit. You change your environment, your internal environment, your external environment. You got around different people. You got around people that were progressive. You change your diet. You start eating different foods. You went on a fast. You started listening to different music or no music at all, or meditation music or affirmations. And then you started taking in different information, listening to actual podcasts or YouTube videos that are helping you become better. And then you created a routine that works for you, right? And then you started repeating it every single day, every single day. And now 2 weeks later, a month later, 6 months later, you unrecognizable. You unrecognizable. Why is it? Because you started to do these different things. If you've been around the same people for the past 9 years and you are not where you want to be, you need to make a change. You have to make a shift. There's no way around it. So you have to take it upon yourself. You have to be accountable to be like, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. There's no way around it, right? So strip yourself to the bone, to the studs. Everything that you thought you knew, everything that you feel like you are, get rid of it. Get rid of it, right? And then get in a different environment, change your environment, change your thoughts. Read different books, eat different foods, eat better foods for yourself, get better sleep. Talk to people that are actually positive. Talk to people that are going to pour into you. Talk to people that are going to tell you, yes, you can do it. Talk to people that are going to give you the perspective that helps you. Talk to people like that, right? Consume different information. Create a routine. I cannot emphasize enough how important a routine is. I cannot emphasize it enough how important a routine is. A routine is everything. You got to have a routine. It grounds you. It allows you to have muscle memory. It sets you up for the day. It sets you up for success. It sets you up for everything. But you got to have a routine. Whatever that routine is, I don't care. But you got to have something that you do every single day that primes you for your day, that allows you to have a win, that sets you up for success. You got to have the routine. And then you got to repeat that motherfucker every day. Repeat your affirmations every day. Journal every day, right? Tell yourself you can do it every day. 29 times a day, 1,000 times a day if you have to, right? You got to tell yourself you can do it. And also, you got to visualize. You got to visualize. You got to be able to see it right here so that you can see it from here and you can experience it with this. You got to visualize. If you're not visualizing, how is it happening? Because everything happens in the spiritual world before it happens in the physical world, right? So if you're in a slump, this is the blueprint right here. This is the structure. Do it. Reset. If you need to reset, do this. This is free game. All you had to do was spend time watching this video. This don't cost nothing, right? So make sure we lock in, write this down, watch this 2 times if you need to, and then hit me up and let me know if you use this or not. All right. But this is how you brainwash yourself for whatever you want in your life. All right. So always remember, get out of your head and get into this world. And I'm going to see y'all in the next video. Peace.